Istanbul is a city where a Roman church became an Ottoman mosque, where ancient walls stand beside modern streets, and ferries carry people between Europe and Asia. In this journey, we will cross the Bosphorus, explore palaces, mosques, markets, and old neighborhoods, and meet the rulers, architects, and communities who shaped the city. But how did one place become a meeting point for continents and empires? And why does it still matter today? The ferry eases away from the shore, and Istanbul begins to open around us. On one side, the old city rises behind domes and palace walls. On the other, neighborhoods spread across the hills of Asia. Between them flows the Bosphorus, a narrow passage linking the Black Sea to the Sea of Marmara, and from there to the Mediterranean. For the passenger, it is one of the world's great city journeys. For Istanbul, it was something more. It brought ships, trade, and travelers to its shores, and gave rulers a reason to build here. Long before the skyline, the markets, or the monuments, there was the water. Leave the waterfront behind, and Istanbul begins to climb. Streets rise, turn, and disappear between old buildings, then suddenly open towards the skyline. The historic city was built across 7 hills, and each one carries a different part of its identity. Topkapi Palace, Hagia Sophia, and the Blue Mosque crown the first hill. Farther west, Soleimania rises above the Golden Horn. But from the streets below, the city never reveals itself all at once. A dome appears at the end of an alley. A minaret slips behind the rooftops. Then, after one more climb, the water returns to view. This is what Istanbul's hills create. Not only its famous skyline, but the feeling that every turn may reveal another side of the city. A ferry horn carries across the rooftops. Below, Istanbul is already in motion. Boats pull into crowded piers, as passengers step ashore, and others hurry aboard. Tea glasses clink on the decks. Gulls follow the ferries, while fishermen take their places along Galata Bridge. These are ordinary scenes, repeated from morning until night. Yet they reveal why the water still matters. The Bosphorus is not only a view, or a border between continents. It is one of the city's main routes, carrying workers, students, and families between Europe and Asia. Empires once depended on these waters for trade and power. Today, Istanbul depends on them simply to keep moving. But the ferries are only the newest layer of this story. the historic peninsula rises from the water. Its streets filled with monuments from different ages. The turning point came in the year 330. When Emperor Constantine made the city a new capital of the Roman Empire. Byzantine became Constantinople. Palaces, churches, public squares, and defensive walls followed. And the city grew into one of the great centers of the medieval world. Modern Istanbul still moves around what remains. The past has not disappeared. It has become part of the journey. Among all these surviving layers, one building tells Istanbul's story more clearly than any other. Hagia Sophia. Its history is already visible in the shape of the building itself. Every side of it carries signs of the centuries that followed. Step inside, and the scale changes completely. Light enters beneath the great dome, making the roof appear almost weightless above the central space. Emperor Justinian ordered Hagia Sophia rebuilt in the year 532, after an earlier church was destroyed during a revolt. He chose Anthemius and Isidore, two leading architects and engineers of their time, to attempt something the city had never seen before. Five years later, they had created more than a place of worship. They created a new idea in architecture. But Hagia Sophia's story did not end with the empire that built it. Nearly 9 centuries later, the city changed hands again. In 1453, Sultan Mehmet II conquered Constantinople. The Byzantine Empire ended. And the city became the capital of a rising Ottoman world. Hagia Sophia became a mosque. Mehmet was not only a conqueror. He began rebuilding and repopulating the city. While Topkapi Palace, markets, schools, and religious complexes gave Istanbul a new center and a new rhythm. The Ottomans did not erase everything they inherited. They adapted it, built beside it, and changed the skyline once again. In 1550, Sultan Suleiman chose his chief architect Mimar Sinan to build a mosque on a hill above the Golden Horn. Rather than building a mosque alone, Sinan planned an entire complex around it, with places for learning, care, and charity. All designed to serve the city beyond the mosque itself. 7 years later, the complex was complete. Its dome and minarets rose above the rooftops, and Soleimania became one of the defining landmarks of Ottoman Istanbul. The Ottoman skyline shows how the empire wanted to be seen. But the life of the city unfolded at street level. A short walk from Soleimania. The open view disappears beneath covered passages, shop fronts, and the steady sound of bargaining. This is the Grand Bazaar. Its first covered halls were built in the 15th century, and since then, merchants, craftsmen and buyers have met beneath these roofs. The goods have changed, but the purpose remains familiar. Here, Ottoman Istanbul survives not through ceremony, but through the everyday rhythm of trade. Beyond the covered passages of the Grand Bazaar, the streets fall towards Eminönü, where trams, ferries and crowds meet beside the Golden Horn. Once the city's great harbour, this waterfront remains one of Istanbul's busiest meeting points. Connecting the old peninsula with neighborhoods across the water. Karaköy and Galata reveal a different rhythm, where old commercial streets now hold cafes, shops, and the energy of modern city life. Historic buildings remain part of the scene. And above them, one landmark still commands the skyline. Galata Tower. The tower was built in 1348 by merchants from the Italian city of Genoa, who used it to protect their settlement and watch over the Golden Horn. Under Ottoman rule, it was used for several purposes, including as a lookout for fires across the city. Today it offers one of Istanbul's clearest views. At the top, the Golden Horn leads back towards the historic peninsula, the Bosphorus opens beyond it, and the streets of Galata spread out below. From here, Galata feels less like a separate neighborhood, and more like a doorway between Istanbul and the wider world. Now it is time to leave the skyline behind and follow the Golden Horn inland towards Fener and Balat. Here, Istanbul feels less monumental and more personal. The story is no longer told by palaces or towers, but by the communities who built their lives along these streets. Fener became a center of Greek Orthodox life, while Balat was shaped by Jewish families, alongside Armenian and Muslim communities. Churches and mosques still stand within these neighborhoods. But this is not a museum of the past. People still live, work, and worship here. In Fener and Balat, Istanbul's many identities are not separated into different chapters. They meet in the same streets. Istanbul may be defined by its history, but it does not live inside it. Beyond the historic peninsula, a different skyline rises. Glass towers stand above modern business districts, while metro lines, bridges, tunnels, and ferries connect neighborhoods across 2 continents. Along the waterfront, families gather in parks and walk beside the Bosphorus. Shopping districts stay busy throughout the day. And when evening arrives, cafes, restaurants, concert halls, and waterfront venues bring a different energy to the city. Each year, around 19 million international visitors arrive, drawn to a city where ancient monuments, modern transport, busy streets, and everyday life all exist side by side. Taksim Square and Istiklal Avenue are among its best-known meeting places. But they are only one part of a much larger modern city. As evening settles over the Bosphorus, Istanbul begins to look different once again. Lights gather along the shoreline, and the city's many layers seem to meet on the water. Geography first gave this place its purpose. Empires gave it monuments, walls, and traditions. Merchants, migrants, and communities filled its streets with life. And each generation added something new. That is why Istanbul cannot be understood through a single palace, mosque, or neighborhood. Its story is found in the movement between them. Istanbul has never belonged to only one age, and that may be the clearest way to understand it. Here, the past is not left behind. It remains part of the city's future.